On today's episode, Tesla's new semi-factory breaks ground in an unexpected location, The Boring Company arrives at Giga Texas, and FSD version 12 releases with new functionality. Tesla has begun construction on their long-awaited semi-truck production facility at Giga Nevada, but some drone footage released just last week seems to show that something weird is happening on location. On January 19th, a drone photographer and YouTuber who calls himself the Tesla Semi-Stalker released a video on his channel showing a flyover he conducted of the Giga Nevada build site on January 17th. The flyover begins with a shot of the site from December, showing the area in question as having been used as a warehouse on wheels up until quite recently. Warehouses on wheels are large, roughly made parking lots where manufacturers store parts in trailers rather than create an enclosed warehouse building. After the narration ends, we then get a view of the site being worked on with the existing Giga Nevada complex in the background. The first thing to note here is that the site we see getting worked on is well outside the established footprint for the Giga Nevada expansion plans. Large earth movers can be seen prepping the site by leveling the ground and compacting the soil, exactly what we'd expect to see before a large building gets started. But when Elon announced this facility last year, it was very clearly discussed as an overall expansion to the main Nevada factory complex, along with a 100 gigawatt-hour 4680 battery manufacturing area that hasn't been discussed since then. So, if there's been a change, then why? Well, first off, we should say that we're not even sure there has been a change. Zanagler reports that Tesla employees have been told that the new semi-facility will be detached from Giga Nevada proper, but there hasn't been any confirmation of that, and no amendments to the original build permits have surfaced yet. The work being done on the former warehouse on wheels site is expansive, but this is the sort of work we'd see if Tesla was getting ready to turn the area into a parking lot, which they might be doing to replace the current parking lot, which is occupying the space where the original permits said the expansion was going to be put. Build permits aren't amazingly difficult to change, especially with the sort of resources Tesla has, but if they could keep the original plan without paying for redesigns and permit updates, you bet they'd do that. So either the work we are seeing is part of a larger phased construction along the lines of the original plan, or something has changed with how Tesla wants to manufacture their semis in this facility. Maybe they need more space, maybe they need to allocate the old space to a different project. It's hard to know until steel begins going up on site. When announced, this expansion was planned to add about 4 million square feet of production footprint and would cost the company $3.6 billion. Tesla has reportedly been working on tax breaks to soften that blow, but that's still a hefty investment. However, the semi had a great year in 2023, with PepsiCo jumping headfirst into plans to expand their fleet of 21 Tesla semis after a particularly good showing at last summer's Run on Less event in California. And a ramp-up of semi-production can't happen without this new facility, so regardless of how the plans might have changed, construction has finally begun, and that means we'll be seeing semi-production increase in just a few months from now. Last week saw a few days of heavy activity at Giga Texas, but not for Tesla. Elon Musk's other project, The Boring Company, began to set up their enormous new proof rock tunneling machine on the Giga Texas property and was spotted assembling the giant robot on January 18th. The job appears to be a new tunnel digging under the highway bordering the Giga Texas property to what looks like a new lot for outbound product on the other side. Applications for this construction were filled out back in 2022 and described a private access tunnel along with associated improvements, which definitely sounds like a Boring Company tunnel. It's an idea that has been thrown around before by CEO Elon Musk that Tesla's properties in Texas could be connected with private tunnels that could allow newly built vehicles to automatically ship themselves to different locations in the network without having to move over public roads. Tunneling supplies like concrete wall linings were spotted at Giga Texas last month, and it's probably unsurprising to find out that Austin's resident Tesla drone photographer Joe Tetmeyer was the one to find them. And of course, he has also taken a bunch of good shots of the new boring machine coming together on the site. But that's not all, because Joe has gathered some experts in the tunneling field and put out a fairly comprehensive analysis of how this project will likely play out, using Joe's drone flyovers of the site for reference. From the photographs of the site, this new tunnel will likely be around 300 meters or 1,000 feet long and could go longer if the company wants to build it directly into the warehouse building on the other side of the highway. That distance will likely take somewhere between 2 to 4 weeks to dig, even though Prufrock 3 is supposed to be around 7 times faster than its predecessor. The reason is that even if Prufrock 3 can theoretically chew through 7 miles per day, the experts think this is ultimately not going to be realistic, as the speed of any tunneling machine is dictated more by the speed at which technicians can remove the dirt being spit out the tail section than the actual drilling speed. And just to reinforce that, a rough estimate shows that for this tunnel, about 20,000 cubic meters or 710,000 cubic feet of dirt would have to be removed from the site per week to keep this project moving. The conveyors would have to move something close to 180 tons of dirt per hour, which just isn't likely to happen. The distance they will need to dig under the tunnel is a problem as well, with the angle of start position of Prufrock showing about 14 meters or about 55 feet of clearance under the roadbed. The problem here is that the ground in this area has a relatively shallow clay bed, so the water table is about 10 feet above where the tunnel is looking to pass through. Not a huge issue, but the company will need to install some robust drainage to help keep the tunnel dry. Logistics aside, though, this is a fairly good way to demonstrate not only a brand new tunneling machine, but showcasing how useful a loop can be for transferring large goods in Texas could go a long way to getting some interested investors in the area. Tesla has finally started to release version 12 of its full self-driving software to customers after a localization delay forced the company to hold the update back in December. Version 12 is particularly important to Tesla's navigation software as it is set to introduce the end-to-end neural nets that CEO Elon Musk has been hyping since last March. As Tesla puts it in their release notes, FSD Beta V12 upgrades the city streets driving stack to a single end-to-end neural network trained on millions of video clips, replacing over 300K lines of explicit C++ code. This is the huge change presented at AI Day, where the original method of training Tesla's self-driving software, which was a more traditionally coded framework of explicit rules, will be replaced by a network of cars sharing video clips of road conditions and training each other how to drive using learning algorithms. It represents a huge step towards actual automatic driving, as well as showcases some powerful new company tech, like the Dojo supercomputers that run the training algorithms. This version of FSD has been used in Tesla's internal testing groups for some time now, leading to the update performing well on California roads by the time it was originally supposed to ship back in December. But recognizing that there were some difficulties with the system being used in areas with higher amounts of precipitation, just as winter was really setting in, the company wisely chose to wait a month in order to train the neural nets on how to drive in slippery conditions. And as more drivers start to get their hands on this version of the beta, the collective network of vehicles with this update will only improve their ability to handle road conditions, which is entirely the point of using a learning algorithm paired with the visual system of each Tesla vehicle. However, this is an absolutely gigantic change to the FSD system, and aside from the new network needing some time to learn, there will likely also be the usual glitches and mistakes that come with any new software release. Hopefully, with a system that learns constantly as drivers upload data to each other and Tesla's servers, it won't be long until this version of FSD shows its full potential. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please consider supporting us directly on Patreon and hit the like button. If content like this starts to perform well for us, then we can continue to make a lot more high quality videos for you in the future.